Center. To put it in perspective, how many employees do you have, General? 27,000. That's bigger than my hometown of Duncan, Oklahoma. 27,000 working at the Air Logistics Center. And you know what? Duncan's not one of the smallest cities in the state. So you got to figure there are more people every day working at the Air Logistics Center than most communities in the state of Oklahoma. That's pretty awesome. We know American Airlines at the Maintenance, Repair, and Overhaul facility in Tulsa is just as important and is the largest commercial MRO. How proud we are that it's in Oklahoma and that the workforce up there continues to do the kind of job that lets it be in Oklahoma. And it's a challenge for us to be able to keep those large employers as time change and people, whether it's business or government, are looking at ways to cut expenses and figuring out how to do more with less. Well, they should talk to teachers. You're always having to do more with less. But figuring out how to keep that work in our state becomes a challenge. But besides these large companies and companies that are partners for this event, like Boeing and Northrop Grumman and others that you saw have been sponsors for our Aerospace Summit, we also have smaller companies like Cherokee Nation Enterprises in Stillwell. I visited there a couple of years ago, and in Stillwell, I've been there lots of times, and I had a chance. I was asked if I wanted to come tour their manufacturing facility where they make harnesses. Well, now I will tell you, I knew it was not harnesses for a horse. I knew that. But I will tell you that I truly, before I went, I thought maybe it was harnesses like seatbelt kinds of harnesses. That's what I thought. I had no idea when I got there that the harnesses they talked about were really, for lack of a better term, I will call them almost like a snake skin, that within which all of the electrical wiring was put together and held and placed on airplanes of all sizes, from the AWACS to the small ones. Still in Oklahoma. Who'd have thunk it? You know? You have a manufacturing company called Valco in Duncan, Oklahoma, that's a subcontractor with the Department of Defense that makes an important piece of equipment for part of our national defense system. All across the state of Oklahoma, we have 400 to 500 companies, big and small, that have opportunities for students in your classroom. For students in your classroom. Students that don't even know these jobs exist, that their curiosity and their passion is just waiting to be unlocked and told that those opportunities exist here in Oklahoma. I can tell you that there are so many different aspects of aerospace that Oklahoma has an opportunity to succeed in. And I hope that over the next few years, you begin to see more government officials, more state officials become aware and supportive and advocate for these. Not just for our manufacturing facilities, not just for the FAA Mike Mulroney Center out here in Oklahoma City, not just for the large companies that we have, but also perhaps for OSIDA out at Burns Flat. And the Oklahoma Space Industrial Development Authority has an opportunity for Oklahoma to be able to do some things that are not offered, that are not available already in other states. And we are competing against New Mexico and other states for some of these opportunities. But Oklahoma has three things that a lot of this kind of industry is looking for. They're looking for great infrastructure, and the runway and the facility at Burns Flat already exists. It already exists, it's there, it doesn't have to be built. They're looking for, oh, guess what? Low population and a lot of wind. Well, that's just kind of western Oklahoma. Oklahoma is in a prime spot to be able to go after some of this kind of future development. And it's not pie in the sky. It's happening and it needs to happen here. But our ability to do that depends on our ability to attract and maintain a skilled and ready workforce. And that's where you come in. We are all in competition, every state, to accomplish these same goals, to have these same kinds of jobs, high-paying jobs, jobs that will allow our students to stay here, your children and grandchildren to choose to stay in Oklahoma. That's what we want. We want them to choose to stay here. We want them to have that option. Aerospace States Association is generally an organization kind of manned by the lieutenant governors, and We have been extremely active in the last 3 years in trying to beef up the work of that association. Fortunately, the Lieutenant Governor from Vermont is a pilot, commercial pilot. He's also National Guard, Air National Guard, and he has a great love and appreciation. But you know what? I don't want that work going to Vermont. So I got involved with him and really kind of fought with him for a while because he didn't know who I was, so I don't mean in a bad way. I was very persistent. And I ended up getting to chair the Workforce Development Committee for ASA. And in that position, I've had an opportunity 2 different times to speak in Washington, D.C. to industry as we worked with the U.S. Department of Labor, the U.S. Department of Education, listening to what industry was trying to tell us we needed to do to change our educational system. Maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Listen to what industry needed us to do to have skills ready for the students who were coming to apply for jobs. Oftentimes that necessitated a change of tactic of how we were approaching our educational system. And that's why you're here, is because we know that you need to be part of that. The first time that I went to participate, or was preparing to participate in D.C., I called my friend Steve Hendrickson, who chairs the Governor's Council on Workforce Development, and they had just issued their second report, which dealt with how do we build a workforce for the aerospace industry. And I said, Steve, I need some beefing up. I need an education on, make sure that I speak appropriately and I speak intelligently about what's going on in Oklahoma. And so we brought Ben Robinson with him as they came to my office and we talked about things. And Ben and I kind of discovered we had some of the same goals at that point in time. We talked about, he wanted to talk about how we needed more mentors, how we needed to be able to find more internships for college students and high school students to be engaged in. And when Ben talked about that, I talked about teachers. And Ben would talk about how we needed to kind of create new opportunities and figure out how we were going to, how could we find more students that we could pull into different kinds of programs. And I'm not kidding, he'll tell you, I talked about teachers. And as we kept having this discussion, I finally realized where I was messing up and explaining to him. My thought process was, it would be easy, it's not that easy, but if the goal was to even hope we found one student out of each class that we thought would be interested, how much we were missing by not trying to change the attitude or give teachers tools, because they're going to have an impact on every student in the classroom. We can impact more students by impacting you. And that's where the Education and Training Day started. It was just a dream between Ben and I. Bob Connor and others took it and said, we can put this together and make this a reality. Sometimes it's nice just to be thought folks, and that's kind of what Ben and I were at that. So Ben and I kind of became part of the Ben and Jerry show. We don't sell ice cream, but you know what? We do sell a passion for believing that there's more that we can do in the state of Oklahoma and in the classroom to engage our students and help prepare Oklahoma's future. We know, and you know as educators, that you have the greatest impact on the students. I know that. I believe that. We talk about the students for the future and what we need them to do. You are the ones who give them the tools to accomplish whatever it is they choose to accomplish. We get that. I get that. The people who are partners here today understand that, and that's why we invite you. That's why we invited you to be one of our aerospace fellows. We believe you're important. And so I would say to you once again, do not go where there is a path. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. You are here today because we believe that you are our aerospace trailblazers, and we are absolutely excited where we know you will take us. Thank you.